Good afternoon.
My name is Rick Ector, Chief Instructor of Rick's Firearm Academy of Detroit. I also run a gun rights advocacy site. It's called Legally Armed in Detroit. And if you can visualize the acronym, I'm finally sheepish in saying it because I'm in church today. And let me tell you, I am eternally grateful for Pastor Buddy allowing us to again use his church to conduct a class. It was approximately 2 weeks ago. We did a course here. It was roughly, well, the first time we did it was 2 hours, and then last time I did it was 3 hours. It was basically to update everyone on some of the recent changes in the Michigan statutes as it relates to guns and the use of guns. And as you know, if you're pro-gun, if you're a Second Amendment advocate, we had some legislation that was pretty much rammed down our throats from a legislative standpoint. They finally got their red flag laws. There's a storage law. There's also a new domestic violence statute that has some interesting provisions in it, and registration laws. So yeah, not looking very good here in the home state of Michigan. As a matter of fact, the only reason that they're not actively pushing and making a lot of noise about additional regulation is because right now they are shy 2 members in the Michigan House. They recently won local elections, so we're currently tied in the Michigan House. I believe it's tied. It's either 47 to 47 or 57 to 57. I can't recall which. I just knew it was a 7 in there, and it was at least 4, right? But the key point is they're looking to fill those positions within the next couple of months. So then we'll be bracing ourselves for potentially some more rights stripping, freedom infringing legislation. But let me stop doing that, because that whole legal statute change business is not even why we're here today. Reason why we're here today is because we are participating in a new version of this seminar. This seminar is called Lethal Force Survival Stories. I initially started this series, may have been as early as 10 years ago. And the format was fairly simple. It's pretty simple as we're going to do it today. It's a very easy format. I've invited speakers through every iteration of this program. And the speaker, in one way or another, had a violent encounter with bad guys. And as a gun rights advocate, as a firearms instructor, advocating that individuals at least consider taking on a more active role in their personal protection. Whether that actually equates to them buying a firearm and getting a concealed pistol license, or considering other training, there are definitely other options out there. Those, I think, are the most direct solutions to violent crime, but there are other solutions out there, like such as move to a nicer community, right? But everyone doesn't necessarily have the ability and the financial wherewithal to just leave their belongings and leave the community. Unfortunately, there have been a lot of scenarios that have played out that way. As a matter of fact, there were some people in local news programs who did exactly that. They suffered a crime, they immediately left town, and they hired people to move their furnishings and take them to the new location. If they took a financial beating on the eventual sale of their property, so be it. They felt that their safety and that their security was of primary consideration, and if they lost money on the house, they really didn't care. They left thinking, okay, my life is the most important thing, and if I have to cut and run, so be it. I actually personally considered that option many years ago. Approximately 20 years ago, I was indeed also a crime victim in my own driveway in Detroit about 20 years ago. And it was a really interesting, surreal experience. I did not picture myself as a crime victim until it actually happened. I was in the garage moving some things around after I came home from work. And as I went to lock up the garage, two guys that I did not know introduced themselves, right? And as they introduced themselves, they produced a gun, and I'm like, okay, good. Wow, I'm having a surreal experience. And as it's happening, I'm watching these two guys, and it's like in Star Wars, you have the evil overlord, you have the apprentice, right? And this older criminal is directing the younger criminal how to efficiently relieve me of my belongings. So at the end of the day, they got anything that I had of value on me. None of it was truly expensive, truly valuable. The most important, most valuable thing was my health and my welfare. I was not shot, I was not beaten, but a little shook up by the ordeal because that was when I discovered that no matter how tough I thought I was mentally inside of my head, if you have two evil people who have guns who have no qualms about using them to relieve you of your property, then they will do so. And so I was just there, wrong person, wrong place, wrong time, right? My own driveway is the wrong place, wrong time. But add two bad guys and that's how we get there. But what I wanted to do was to always continually learn more, acquire new skills. I took that as a learning experience. I immersed myself in firearms training. I got more into guns, started buying more guns. Got a concealed pistol license, racked up certifications. Then I became a training counselor, training people to be firearms instructors. And then that transitioned to advocacy work. And one of the biggest things that I do now that I'm most proud of is that I do a free shooting event for women every year. That started as an outgrowth of a news program story about a woman's body that had been discovered, just discarded in the street. They dumped her in a trash can. They raped her, they killed her, and they literally dumped her in the trash can. And I thought, man, that is a completely heinous way for someone to leave this earth, right? And I thought about it, and I talked to a lot of friends, and they said, hey, do something about it. And I thought about it, and I felt sufficiently challenged, and my doing something about it was offering women free shooting lessons. And over the past 12 years, we have cumulatively provided a free shooting lesson, range safety briefing to roughly 9,000 women. We're looking to eclipse 10,000 this upcoming summer. A lot of people have started asking me already, Rick, when is the next one? When is the next one? When is the next one? As eager as they're asking me because they want to go to the gun range and shoot, I'm eager to provide resources for them to do that. Provide them with the gun, provide ammo, provide one-on-one instruction with a firearms trainer in the booth with them. So I'm very eager to continue that and to eclipse 10,000 mark. And going back to this program today, I did 2 prior iterations of this program, and the thing that I really love about this program is that it gives a really interesting perspective on what it's like to be involved in a violent crime. I have 2 people that I invited to be here today, and they graciously accepted my offer to show up and to speak with you all about their experiences. And when I was talking to both people, I wanted to let both of these gentlemen know that I definitely appreciate them volunteering to participate in this program and to be willing to share their individual experiences. For many people, if you ask them to go somewhere and to walk up to a microphone and to say, hi, my name is, most people would rather die than to do that. And it is hands down, and it's a documented fact that the number one fear that a lot of people have is walking up to a mic and speaking. And so to that fear, I don't think these two gentlemen have that problem, but I definitely appreciate their willingness to share their story. And the things that I was asking them to develop or to present from their stories was to give us an appreciation of where they were in their life, what they had going on, what they were doing, what their perceptions were about guns, that they had any experiences with firearms, how did this event unfold, how long ago was it as they have matured and developed and learned more about guns and personal protection. Were there some things that they probably shouldn't have done, but were some life lessons that they took out of it? If they actually used their firearm, well, what were the consequences of using that firearm? Did the government, did the state get involved? Were they under investigation for potential charges, time incarceration, financial fines? Were there any financial consequences? Were they laid off from their job, or were there opportunities for employment or earning an income? Were they diminished? Was there a ruling by the appropriate authority, the prosecutor? Was there an individual case? What was the verdict? And ultimately, in the aftermath, not if it was going to happen again, but if they were older and wiser and more experienced, what changes might they have considered going forward, looking back? And I thought that that would be a tremendous benefit if I could get two brave, adventurous souls to step up and to provide their story. And the first guy I've known several years now, and he graciously accepted my invitation to be a part of this program. We actually worked also too on a previous program. Yeah, question?
Are they okay with us taking their picture?
Both said okay. And there was a National Rifle Association program. The NRA came to town and they did a Detroit story on people and guns. And my first guest had significant coverage in that NRA movie video. I believe the name of it was Detroit Armed and Determined. Had a lot of Chief Craig, who was a very pro-gun police chief here in Detroit a few years back. But with no further ado, please give a warm reception and welcome to my buddy, Mr. Daryl Standard. Yes, sir.
Like Rick said, I am Daryl Stanberry. This happened probably about 12 years ago now. No, maybe a little longer. It's 2011, 2012. It was an average day, just like any other day. Didn't expect my life to be changed upside down in one day. That afternoon, I had went and picked up my son. He had football practice, went to football practice. And when I got there, it was my vehicle, my truck, the alarm, my keypad wouldn't work. So I said, I'll forget it. I'll be sitting right here, I'll see it. So nothing will happen. So I said, I'll change the battery when I got home. So on my way home, after I dropped my son off, going home, it was daylight. It was like 8 o'clock in the afternoon. And on my way home, I happened to look over at a gas station on the corner of 6 Mile and Evergreen, and there was nobody in the gas station. I was like, well, I'll just pull over in the gas station and get some gas real quick. I needed some gas. And only God was with me at that time, because something told me, I'll just leave the truck running, you run in, pay the gas, and come on back out. I jumped out of my vehicle, all four of my windows were down as well. I jumped out of my vehicle, and the vehicle was facing this way, and the gas station door was on this side. And I came around the vehicle and was headed into the gas station, and as soon as I turned around and looked, it was somebody getting into my vehicle. I don't know where they, at that point, I didn't know where they came from because there was nobody around. So at that point, I turned around and immediately walked back to my vehicle, and I was on the passenger side, and I told him to get out of my vehicle, and he turned around and gave me some expletives and told me to get away from there. So I stood there. At that point, I seen him reach in his pocket because I didn't move. When he reached in his pocket, and that's when I pulled out my weapon and I just held it to my side. And when he reached in his pocket to pull it out, I just stuck my hand in the window and shot one time. And he took off in my vehicle, and I thought I had missed him at that point because he took off. He was gone, went down Evergreen. So I went back inside of the gas station to tell the guy to call the police, and he told me to get out of there or something. So I started walking back out. And at that point, I guess it was adrenaline or that traumatic experience. I imagined seeing a kid down by my side, and I said, "No, buddy, you need to get out of here." But as things went on, I realized that really didn't happen. But I guess my adrenaline was flowing so fast, I thought I imagined this little kid being there. So as I walked out, I called 911 and told them what had just transpired. And the next call was to my mom because I needed her to get there because I didn't know what was going to happen at that point. And so I looked around, and across the street, there were like 4 other guys. He must have came from over there with them. They started running. They ran in the house. Some ran in the house. Some went around back. So at this point, I didn't holster my weapon because I didn't know what was coming next. So as I came out of the gas station, I heard a boom. And I knew that I had hit him then because I figured that was my truck. He had crashed. So I was going towards where I heard the boom at. And I still had my weapon out because these gentlemen were standing around looking from behind something. I didn't know if they were going to come out with a weapon or not. So I started walking that way until I got far enough. I felt like I was out of range for them to take a shot. And I holstered my weapon and went to where my vehicle was. It was upside down in the street, but I didn't immediately approach the vehicle because I didn't know, it was a bunch of people out there. I didn't know if any of these people were with him or not. So I just stayed away until the police got there. First, fire department made it there, and then the police came. When the police came, I walked up to them. My gun was holstered with my hands up. I wasn't a threat to them or anything. And walked up to them and told them that was my vehicle and I'm the one that shot him. And they instantly pulled out their guns, put me on the ground, all that stuff, which I didn't think was fair, but I mean, they have to do their job too. And they put me in the back of a police car. They didn't want to hear what I had to say. And then I sat in the police car for about an hour and a half or so. My mother had made it to the scene, and she was frantic because all she seen was my truck upside down. She didn't know where I was, and I just sat there. And then the detectives finally made the scene, probably about an hour and a half to hour and 45 minutes later. And once they made it to the scene, because the officers didn't want to hear what I had to say. When the detectives got there, I explained my story to them and what happened, and I seen them walking away with the gun that he had in his pocket. And the detective told the officers to take the handcuffs off of me and for me to go with them. So at that point, I went into the car with them. It was 3 detectives at that point. I'll never forget the sergeant's name. His name was Sergeant Russell. He was a great sergeant at the time because when he took me to the station, he was like, don't be afraid to carry your gun again. You did what was right. The bad guy got what he deserved. But he had explained to me too that Southfield was closed at the time, so everybody was taking Evergreen as an alternate route. The weekend before, like 3 people were robbed on that corner. So he was gonna rob me anyway. Just that my truck was running, he thought it was gonna be an easy robbery and just take the truck and go. But if I hadn't had my truck running, he would have been on me and had a gun out, and I would have never been able to pull my weapon at all. So God was with me that day and told me to leave the truck running. And so anyways, when we were at the precinct, Sergeant Russell, I'll never forget what his words to me was. He said, I'm gonna take you up to the interview room. I have to interview you for this situation. But he said, I want you to say one thing, and this will make sure nobody ever comes after you so you won't get charged or anything, because you did what you were supposed to do. He told me to tell them, when I was in the interview, to say that I was in fear for my life, which I was. And so we went up, he did the interview. Interview went off. While we were sitting in the interview room, he said, I'm gonna call the prosecutor now while I'm sitting here so that we can get underway what's gonna be the next step. So he called the prosecutor right there, and the prosecutor said they weren't gonna forward any charges. So he was like, well, come on, let's get ready to go. So I was like, well, I gotta make some calls. Somebody gotta come and pick me up from the precinct. He said, don't worry about that. So I'm like, why not? He's like, well, just come on with me. And I was walking with him, and we were headed out, and my whole family was there at the precinct. And I'm like, why are all you guys here? Everybody doesn't need to be here. At that point, I was still in shock of what had transpired, because I had never dealt with anything like that before in life. So everybody was there, and the police officers, everybody was congratulating me, and I didn't feel like I needed to be congratulated. You know, I took somebody's life. And it was very traumatic, and my family was with me, and they wanted to go home, and they wanted to stay at my house because I guess some of his family came to the scene, and they was threatening my life or whatever. And my family wanted to stay there with me, and I was like, no, you guys gotta go home. Don't worry about me, I'm gonna be fine. And everybody was at my house, and I got home, and I was really out of it. My mind was out of it completely. I had to seek help after this. I had to go to counseling because I couldn't, my mind wouldn't stop thinking about it. I thought everybody was out after me. It was very, very, it was an experience that I never want anyone to experience. Then the next day I had to go and talk to my son and his mom because my son had to go back to school. It was all over the news, and I didn't want my son to ever have to deal with this. So we had to sit my son down. He was like 11 or 12 at the time. We had to sit him down so that we can let him understand that if somebody approach you, you don't have to talk about the situation. Go to the teacher, the principal, or call me or your mom so we can get there and handle the situation, because some people didn't understand and didn't know what really transpired. But it was a very tragic situation for this young man's family. He was 19 years old, and he lost his life. But then it was traumatic for my family as well. My family, my son, he was shell-shocked to find out that his dad had killed someone. And it bothered him, my mother, it bothered a lot of my family. A lot of my cousins and relatives wanted to stay around me just to, to comfort me, but I didn't want anybody around me. I told them they all need to leave, because at that point I thought everybody was out to get me. Everybody, and I don't know why my mind was going there, but it did. So at that point, it was like a week after the situation that I went and sought counseling to kind of ease this situation over. And the more that I went, the easier the situation got. But at first, it was real rough. It was a real rough situation. I was never charged. In the situation. Before then, I guess that's why it was not a hesitation in my mind, because before then I always carried a weapon. I used to go to the firing range at least 3 or 4 times a month so that I would be prepared for a situation if it was to happen. This day I never thought it would happen. It was very random. I mean, it was like a normal day. It was a normal day until that situation arose, and I thank God that I was the one to walk away from the situation. And that's pretty much my story.
Hey, give him a hand. Give him a hand.
Let me tell you, very powerful testimony.
I know I at least have a question or two.
Yeah, anybody else got any questions?
Anybody have a question about his experience, Pastor Buddy?
I just have a comment, coming from a spiritual standpoint. My first inclination when you said there was a little child standing next to you, I believe in angels, so look at that as a good thing.
I did.
So after this happened, and you became kind of friends with the Mr. Russell went on. Was there arraignment right away and then pre-trial,
There
or
was
this
none
went
of
on
that.
for weeks and months and years?
Nothing.
No
No charges was pressed at all.
But you said you got off, so what happened? You did have a court case?
No. No charges.
Oh, there was.
No
just
charges.
dropped.
After I
It was
left the
just dropped.
precinct that night, I never went back to the precinct,
All right.
courthouse, or anything. No charges.
All right. But you did feel like a criminal because the initial first responding cops had you on the ground.
Right,
You
right.
know, and that's what
felt
I
like
don't
was
like.
criminal.
I mean, how can you be a holder and get treated like that?
And I wasn't a threat. I had my hands up.
Right.
My gun was holstered. I wasn't a threat at all to him.
I always wonder how I would react to this. I've never been in this situation, but I can't imagine. And I always wondered, I think in my own case, I think it does change you.
It does. It does. It makes you more aware of things around you, number one. Number one, it will make you, this point now, when I see a lot of people, or I'm going in a gas station or something, and I see something that doesn't look right, I won't even go there. I won't even go.
I avoid,
You got a question?
This might be a question for both of you. Was just curious, was Chief Craig the police chief when your incident happened?
No, I don't think he was. This is 2011, 2012. I don't think so.
And Rick, do you think that depending on who the administration is, does it change in how he would have been treated?
I don't know if I feel comfortable speaking on behalf of someone in a particular administration with the police department. I'll say this. Typically, in many jurisdictions across the country, many law enforcement agencies are not very keen or very supportive of individuals taking on a more active role in their personal protection, actually buying a gun and satisfying all the legal requirements, getting training, going the extra step of getting a concealed carry license, making sure that they know what the laws are and they get it from a credible resource, because it doesn't matter what you think the law is or if someone gave you some bad information. If you don't act accordingly and or properly, you will be held accountable. I know there were some questions that I had with respect to your experience, and I know I'll bounce that off of Kyle when I have Kyle come up. But as a firearms instructor, and I'm not being critical at all.
No, that's fine.
You're my friend.
Yeah,
I love you to
I'm
death.
good.
When I teach people in concealed pistol license training classes, I'm of the opinion that they really shouldn't be what they call cooperative. Don't say anything. But here's the thing. I'm guessing that based on the personalities that you were with that were in the department, that they could size up how it looked. And they said, okay, well, this looks good, and I don't know if they told you some magic phrase or put you at ease, but you're, from a legal standpoint, you really, if someone has been shot, then you are in a position where you really need to be very careful. And here's the thing, you're out here and you're free, and we're having this program, so obviously it definitely worked out. Ms. Mona.
Actually, just to his point, or to your question, I am not a police officer. I do work in the Detroit Police Department, and I see a lot of things. What he experienced is pretty standard operating procedure. It's absolutely something that police will absolutely do. They will essentially detain you. They may even handcuff you and those sort of things. They'll do that for their own safety, even though you were the person who said you were defending yourself. Doesn't necessarily mean that's true all the time. So until they can sort those kind of things out, yeah, it's unfortunate, and I'm sorry you were treated that way. I didn't do it, but I'm sorry you were treated that way. But realistically, in all honesty, you could have very well, when they come to a scene, they don't know if you're the perpetrator, they don't know if you're the victim, they know what you say, right? And that could have gone either way. It could have been true either way. And so for their own protection, yeah, exactly what happened. You guys see all the videos all day, every day. And that is absolutely what they do.
It's probably like a protocol.
Yeah, it's
Question
protocol.
over here.
I was just gonna say, the officers do have to clear the scene, so it's, you know, it sounds horrible what happened to you, but, when we act, we have to assume that if we're armed, we're going to be processed at that scene as well. So there are some aspects of going, because you also don't know who made the first 911 call. The first call, it's happened to me before, where the first call that went through reported me. And I was the one who was actually the victim. But the first 911 call that went through was about me with a gun. So the officers that showed up, they weren't there with my perspective, they were there
Based on what they
They
heard.
heard from 911.
Based on what the person told 911. And I hear those tapes all day, every day. And frequently, that information is all mixed up and jumbled. So when police go there, they have to go based on what they have in front of them. And until it's sorted out, they don't know.
Question.
First off, I just want to say I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Before this happened to you, did you ever have your mind set to where if you did ever have to pull your weapon, you think you'd be okay with that?
I never really thought about it before because I never thought I would be in that type of situation. So that was never really something that I said, oh, okay, well, if this happened, are you gonna really do it? I never really thought about it.
Because I just had this conversation with somebody and I said, you know, if it's gonna be me or them, it's gonna be them. And I would have no problem at all pulling my weapon on someone and shooting them if I had to. But in reality, if it really happened, would I really feel that way?
Right. You know, before then, you take it lightly. You'd say, oh man, I'll kill you or something like that jokingly. I don't even play like that anymore.
Oh, no.
Because after this situation, it's hard to even say that.
It'll be used against you too, you
Right.
know?
So, that trauma that you had after that shooting, it affected, how long did that last initially? Was it weeks, months, years? I mean, how many?
Months and months and months. I could say almost a year.
Yeah. So now, like talking about this here in front of people, does that conjure up and bring a lot of that stuff back? And how does it
Sometimes.
affect you now? Yeah. 'Cause-
Sometimes it's still, you know, I have my good days and my bad days. Some days I don't even think about it,
Yeah.
you know, and then some days, because at that time I had a son that was 19 as well. And that was another reason that it really bothered me because my son was 19.
Yeah.
And I just took a 19-year-old's life, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even though my son would better not be out there doing nothing like that.
Yeah.
Put it that
Well, with a
way.
dad like you, he probably wouldn't be.
Oh, no,
right?
no, he don't. No,
Right.
he wouldn't. But now I get by pretty good.
Good.
I mean, you know, today it brings back some of those feelings a little bit, but not like it was back then. Back
Mhm.
then it was, if I had sit up here to talk about it, I'd probably break down.
I think it's something that all of us, you know, CPL holders think about. Oh, worst case scenario, I don't want to have to ever do that.
Right.
But we have to be mentally prepared, physically prepared to do that. And like you said, you know, going to the range 2-3 times a month, whatever it is, we have to keep doing that. And some of us need to do it more.
Yes.
There's a lot of times where, you know, get too busy, we don't go to the range.
Mhm.
We need to get back out there and get that memory muscle back.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would have been able to do what I did that day if I didn't have that memory muscle that showed me, hey, this is what you need to do. You know, because at that time you're thinking about what is his next move? What is he gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You're not really thinking about, well, should I pull my weapon? When he reached in his pocket, I knew what he was going for. You know, it wasn't like, oh, okay, here's a piece of candy. You know, no, he wasn't
Right.
going in his pocket to give me a piece of candy, you know?
Yeah.
So I knew what he was going to, and that's what one of the detectives asked me too. Well, how did you know he was pulling out a gun? I mean, what else was he pulling out?
What are you
Yeah.
gonna wait? You're
Well,
not
if
gonna
I,
wait too long.
right, am I supposed to wait until he pull it out and then I get shot? I was like, no, and then that's when the other detective was like, well, you did what you were supposed to do.
You know, and just after that, if he made it down the road and you came back out of the gas station, you had that the awareness, the, you know,
Very much so.
surrounding to check people out,
Mhm.
because, like, you know, luckily you picked that up, that those guys probably were with him.
Yeah,
You know, then you can check your surroundings, and then, because a lot of people would have that tunnel vision
tunnel vision.
and just be frozen,
Yeah.
you know, so, you know, you want to avoid that too. I mean, you know, golly, I'm glad you're all right with that, man. Yeah.
Sir, I know you
Thank
had a
you.
question. Jeanette?
Yes, sir, yeah, I was just curious, if they ever gave you your weapon back, and if they did.
Oh,
when
good
they
question.
did it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about that part there.
Did they give you your gun back?
You were
I
in
did.
worthy territory.
I did get my gun back.
What?
I did. The week after, because I wouldn't leave home. I wouldn't even leave home. My mind was so messed up. I wouldn't even leave home. One of my cousins came by and he's like, I gotta get you out of this house, man. You gotta get out of this house. He was like, I know what's gonna get you out. Come on, let's go to the gun store. I'm gonna buy you another gun. And my cousin came and we went to the gun store and we bought another 45. 'Cause that's what I carried, 45. We bought another 45, and at that point I felt kind of at ease because now I can get out and do things. But it took me a little over a year and a half to get my gun back.
How did I know?
Was there a reason why they kept it that long? What
They
was
said
their
that it had to go to ballistics testing and all this thing through the state.
Did it look as pretty as it was when they took it from you?
My seat looked pretty good.
No additional scratches
No,
and things
no,
on
the
it?
seat looked
Just
pretty
be
good.
grateful you got it back.
Back, right.
Frequently they get lost.
Yeah, well, I got it back.
They're
I
never
was-
to be seen again.
I had spent a lot of money on that gun, so I know I.
Oh, you're
my gun
really
was-
fortunate.
Yeah, I spent a lot of money on that gun. I wanted it back.
Master Buddy?
In the litigious world which we live in, was there any recourse from the decedent's family against you?
Yes, I had death threats. Matter of fact, I still got a screenshot. My cousin's son's sister was in a Facebook chat room, and they were in there talking about killing me, and she wanted to go on there and say something. Her mom called me, and she wanted to, her daughter wanted to say something. I told her, don't say anything. Just screenshot it and send it to me. I took those screenshots and took them to the police and made a report. I had a report made, so just in case something happened and I have to defend myself,
Again.
it was documented.
And they file a lawsuit against you?
No, nope. I had another incident. He was 19. I had to put my Facebook page on private. His 16-year-old brother reached out to me and told me that I had killed his brother and what he wanted to do to me.
Sir,
That's
did
a
you have a
felony.
question? Sir?
That's a felony. They
I
could have
know.
prosecuted them threats over a communication device, blah, 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 so on and so forth.
More of a comment, but I just wanted to assure you that you taking the time to take Rick's invitation to be here and share your story is an example of God turning your pain into purpose.
Yes,
I can tell that you're a man of faith,
yes I am.
and he was able to turn this into something positive, something negative into positive. So
Yeah.
thank you for being here.
No, thank you.
Probably bring you both back up there. All right, that was powerful testimony, you know. We talk about these incidents all the time. If you're a trainer, you conduct classes, or if you have any conversations with your peers in the gun community, participate in any forums, you know, there's a lot of things that get said and a lot of things that are talked about, and it's all theory at that point. You just don't know truly until it happens. One thing that I picked up on was he stated that he really didn't think, he just acted because he had been practicing and training. And I believe that that's really crucial and it's gonna help you a lot if you already are very comfortable with your gun and drawing it and producing it and using it. You don't have to think about it. You want it to be automatic. And here's the thing, it will happen with practice, and you need to put in that time, you need to put in that work. I tell people when I conduct concealed carry classes, and say, well, gee, how much is enough? Once you actually learn how to accurately shoot, right? Like you're putting all of your shots inside of a sheet of paper at boom length distances, then to maintain that ability and to guard against your skills depreciating, you need to put in work at the range at least once a month. And that's a minimum, at least once a month. Well, how many rounds, Rick? Look, I'm gonna give you another minimum because there's some other variables out there. You know, how much this stuff costs, how much does the ammo cost, especially these days? How much does the range time cost? Yeah, make sure you have all the gear. Yeah, I get it, it adds up. At least a half an hour, at least 50 rounds, and that's bare minimum. I really think you need to do more, but we know that a lot of things in these inflationary times are expensive, but don't be like some of the people who contact me. They got their concealed pistol license, and next time that they go to the gun range is when it's time to renew 4 years later, and some of them have not shot. And some of these people, when I do get them to the range and I look at their skills and their ability, I see a marketed, significant decrease in ability. It's almost as if you're starting over with a brand new person all over again. You know, once you learn how to shoot, yes, you know how to shoot, but you need to put in the work and the practice. But having said that, I want to transition to something that's extremely important for those of us who lawfully carry firearms for personal protection and self-defense. Using your gun to defend yourself or to defend some other third person that you're allowed to do here currently in the state of Michigan, it carries risk. And we heard some of those risks enumerated when Daryl was talking. You know, there's the risk that you're gonna be arrested. There's the risk that your property is gonna be taken. There's the risk you're gonna be interrogated. There's a risk that someone may take something that you say and use it against you. There's a risk that you may have charges levied against you. Another individual that I had as a speaker in this series during a previous session, he actually used his gun and he shot 2 people. And he was actually prosecuted by the state for a number of felonies. He was going to be put away for a long period of time. They offered him a legal deal, like take this sweetheart of a deal and you won't like go to prison, right? And he actually thought about taking it. And he put his faith in God, and he had a very strong religious family, this pastor and his family and everyone who was at that church. They had a presence and they were there and they carried him, they gave him strength, and at the end of the day, he was exonerated of all charges. But just to watch someone go through that and look at some of the hardships that they incurred. One of the significant issues was the amount of money that he was spending, or rather his family was spending, for representation in lawyers. And yes, if you don't have sufficient resources to procure the services of a lawyer, of an attorney, hopefully a right attorney. Well, gee, what's the wrong attorney? Someone who has a legal practice in family law, someone who does slip and fall accidents, someone who's an immigration attorney. No, you don't want those attorneys. If you have been forced to defend yourself, you've been forced to shoot someone, if someone was injured and or killed, then what type of lawyer do you want? And I'm not being rhetorical, please tell me, what kind of lawyer do you want? A criminal defense attorney who actually has some proven experiences in representing people who have been accused of crime. And I would be remiss if I did not provide some specific, detailed information on what that process is like. And for individuals who feel that they may suffer the risk of exposure should something happen. My friend that I was talking about, who actually was put on trial, was facing significant prison time. His family, his mother and his father, they happened to have the financial resources to cover those legal expenses. For all of the lawyers, all the time that was billed, all of the expert witnesses, forensic testimony, they even retained me to be part of that case. But I would like to present firearms legal protection. I want to call Kyle Swims to come up and talk about a plan that you all would probably want to consider. Give him a hand for coming on up and talking.
How y'all doing today? You guys good? Now, thinking most of you guys are CPO holders, yeah? Does any of you guys have any sort of coverage? Firearms legal protection, USCCA, anybody? Couple of people got a little bit of something. So I'm here to talk to you guys about firearms legal protection and let you guys know that there is companies out there that will take care of that aftermath portion for you. Now, we are one of those companies. I would love to let you guys know what we have to offer for you. So when it comes to, I'll start with attorney fees. Average I've seen for decent self-defense attorneys, average $45,000 to $70,000, $80,000 is what I've seen. Now you want your top-notch attorneys, you know those ones that are going to fight tooth and nail for you to get you off? You guys are looking minimum 6 figures. Starting off just to get out of bed, start working on each of your cases. If you're going through a criminal, and a lot of times, you're going to face a civil charge as well. That family, if you take somebody else's life, that family will come after you. Even if you took that person, yeah, there's somebody that will come after you. So we want to make sure that you guys have uncapped attorney fees with our company. We take care of absolutely everything for you guys. Now, when it comes to defending yourself inside your home, what do you guys think is responsible for that cleanup? That's you guys, all right? Everything that comes out of somebody's body that's left at your house, you guys are responsible for that cleanup. And you guys are not allowed to touch any of that stuff yourself. If you guys touch any of that, that is a $10,000 fine and it's a misdemeanor if you're caught throwing anything away. You have to hire companies to come out and take care of all that stuff for you. You gotta call Surf Pro, Belfort, places like that. Average cleanup I've seen, roughly $12,000 to $15,000. Yes. Now I heard Rick kind of talking about if you have to go through court, a lot of times they're going to bring in expert witnesses, expert investigators for you. They'll hire, CPO instructors. If you took one, they all charge something different. We're a company, we want to take care of that for you as well. Now you are a lucky man that got that firearm back. That is very rare, especially in the state of Michigan. We're a blue state. They get a gun on the street, they do not want to put that thing back out there to you. So we are a company that does fight to get your firearm back for you. Now, if we cannot get your firearm back for you within 6 months, we cut you guys a check up to $1,000 to replace that firearm. Now, when it comes to the counseling support, I'm a veteran myself. I had to go to counseling. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for counseling support for some of the things I had to go through overseas. It's truthfully saved my life. I don't care if anybody says that they are. I've seen the biggest men crumble. Actually taking somebody else's life, that is not a joke. It can have an effect. We're also a company who likes to make sure that you guys have that option to talk to somebody. We want to take care of that counseling support for you guys. And then we also cover lost wages. A lot of times while you're going to court, most jobs aren't going to pay you while you're going through that, right? We're a company that wants to take care of those lost wages for you, give you all a little bit back for it. But the biggest thing is, we're a company who wants to take care of that complete financial aftermath for you guys. You guys, all we want you to do is take care of yourselves, and we want to be that company that steps in, takes care of absolutely everything in that aftermath for you guys. Too many times I've seen people that did absolutely everything right, 100% in the clear, had their lives completely thrown down the drain, all because of our legal system. So That's why we are here. We really love you guys, want to make sure that you guys are well taken care of. Now, we offer a couple different plans to you guys. As low as $9.95 a month, you guys can have all of that coverage. Uncapped attorney fees. Here in the state of Michigan, we offer a $21.95 plan. That's where you're getting a little bit of extra coverage in all 50 states. That's where you're getting your bail, you're getting, oh, also bail. I didn't mention that. You got lucky. You were able to completely avoid everything. That's one of the rarest things I've ever heard. You got absolutely lucky. But a lot of times, I've seen people have to bail themselves out. What do y'all think that the average bail is for having to shoot somebody in a shooting situation?
$5,000.
Average I've seen is $50,000 to $100,000. 10% rule doesn't apply. That's for smaller, pettier crimes. There's a firearm involved, somebody lost their life. Better pray to God you have that full bail amount sitting around because you are going to have to spend it to get out. It's the truth. It's the truth. I am telling you, I've seen way too many times people put up absolutely everything. Families putting up everything. Taking out second mortgages just to cover all of this stuff. But you did nothing more. Yes, ma'am.
I was lucky too with Inkster. They took all 3 of my weapons.
Oh, they took everything. Everything you had?
They took everything.
Yep.
I spent 3 days in jail. I got off with no bail. They didn't know what to charge me. My neighbor called and said I pulled my weapon on him. I'm still going through a court case with him because then he beat the crap out of me and I didn't have my weapon on me at the time. It happened right in my driveway and he lived next door. Yeah, I never pulled. I had my phone. I was video recording him and he knew it.
Tell what it was. Or,
He knew that I had my phone because every time he went out to cut his grass, I had to videotape him because they've been known to ram the lawnmower into my truck and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it irritated him that he had no privacy, that I could just videotape him, you know. And yeah, but I spent 3 days in jail and took me, right at the peak of COVID. They told me, oh, everything got cleaned 20 minutes ago. Well, that wasn't right. They sent a cleaning crew and I actually asked them to clean the mattress. She said, oh, we don't normally clean that. So, I mean, I cried and begged her, especially with COVID.
Yeah.
She sprayed it down. She did one wipe with a white cloth that looked like this, and she said, oh my God, this is gross. The cloth was black.
You know what? Me and you definitely talk, because if I do this again, I want to ask you to be part of that.
Yeah.
Do you have a specific question you want to ask him?
Just,
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
I really would like a card from you.
Absolutely.
I really would be, because the attorney that I actually hired for all of this was an attorney that I got from Open Carry, who was a complete idiot. Yeah, he gave me a good deal. I'm gonna charge me $2,500 because I'm a member of Open Carry, but he really didn't do anything. I did all the work, you know, and oh yeah, I mean, I had to constantly keep calling him, and then I get a phone call from him saying, can you talk to my wife? She thinks we're having an affair. I'm like, huh? Because I kept calling him, trying to ask him questions, because it seemed like he wasn't doing crap, but, you know, I'm a low-income person. I couldn't afford this big lawyer to get me out. You know, I got her calling the police station every 5 minutes because she used to work with the police.
Trying to get some answers.
You know, and it's just like, it was horrible.
Yeah,
you know?
that's the last thing that we
And
want.
it's something to think about. Somebody could just call the police and tell you, hey, you know, they pulled their weapon on me and your butt's going to jail. It doesn't matter if it was true or not.
So that's the new law that just got passed back on February 14th. You guys familiar with red flag law?
Yep.
Yeah, red flag law is, what it boils down to is anybody you've ever had a relationship with. And they don't define a relationship. Your family, your friends, your neighbors, your lovers, your ex, doesn't matter. They can call the cops on you. Say this person's out of their mind, they're threatening, scary, pretty sure they're going to hurt themselves, somebody else got a bunch of firearms. They need help right away. Well, police are going to come confiscate every single weapon, anything you have to do with firearms. Then you have to go and prove that you're mentally capable to own those firearms. If they deem you're not, you have to wait a year before you can try again. Then 3 years, then it's 5 years. After that, you are never going to touch again for the rest of your life. Absolutely insane that they could just randomly make something up. And they don't have to come to court. They can do it anonymously. They have to have no proof. You are the one that has to prove that you're mentally capable. So you have to go through all of that. That's that new law that just got passed. And we also do take care of our customers as well with red flag law. But the big thing about, you said you went with open carry to get your attorney. Now, our attorneys that we have under contract with us, minimum 7 years experience in self-defense, firearms-related claims. Now, with our company, if you decide to sign up with us, if you don't like any of our attorneys that we have, you can bring us your own attorney, anybody that you would like. We vet them. As long as everything checks out, we put them under contract, and you're still getting all the same coverage, just the same. Biggest thing is we want you guys to take care of yourself. We want to take care of that financial aftermath portion for you guys. Now, if anybody that might seem like they might be interested, I would be more than happy to hang out in the back and talk with you guys a little bit more. I know some of you guys already have it, but I would be more than happy to either A, get you signed up, or B, just answer any questions. If anybody has any questions right now, I'd be more than happy to answer them for you guys.
First of all, thank you for your service.
Oh, not thank you. Appreciate
Second
it.
of all, I've carried FLP for years and years and years for me and my wife. And I'll put a link in the description of both my YouTube and the Facebook today. So if you're interested, if you're looking in, you're interested, you'll be able to click on those links and get yourself some insurance.
Absolutely, because yeah, the majority of the time, you're not going to come out walking away like that. You know, it's either going to be bail or you're going to go to court cases, and that adds up extremely, extremely fast. So like I said, we just want to make sure that we take care of you guys in that aftermath portion.
Just really quick, you were just speaking on red flag laws.
Yes.
Again, I work in the Detroit Police Department here. I don't believe all law enforcement agencies at this particular moment even understand fully the process of how to handle a red flag situation. We've had a couple in the city. I just said, rank a picture of a beautiful rifle about maybe a week ago. It was a beautiful rifle, but here's what happened. The person called 911 and said, yeah, this person's mental, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. And they've got a rifle. And I don't think Detroit fully understands that there's a process to just go take a person's gun. But I absolutely sent Rick a beautiful picture of this rifle that was confiscated in the 5th precinct maybe about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
So they just went
Because
in,
they don't understand the process. So definitely we all need to make sure we got ourselves protected, because until this thing is rolled out and everybody's properly educated on it, in which, look how many laws we got that are 100 years old that our law enforcement, who I respect tremendously, isn't always versed in. So we just gotta make sure we got ourselves protected that way.
Absolutely.
FLP will take care of us that way.
Absolutely,
Hey,
thank you. So yeah, so they just went in and just snagged it up?
Went in, snagged it up, and sent me
Just
a
like
picture of
that.
it.
Just like that. Walk right into your home, take everything that you have related to firearms away from you. All because somebody wants to make something up. Absolutely insane. So like I said, we just want to make sure we take care of you guys. So like I said, I'll be back there. If y'all have any questions, would like to possibly sign up with us, I got a couple of different plans I can talk to you guys about, get you locked in and some good discount rates.
The one thing I wanted to chime in, and it came to my memory as you're talking about Marcus, the Santa shooter. It's what the media called him.
Oh, yeah.
Because during his shooting was during the winter, and he had on the Santa Claus outfit, and it was like a media spectacle. Oh my God, Santa shot 2 people, right? But he did it in defense of himself and in defense of 2 other people. In this particular case, he shared with me the exorbitant price tag that his family incurred. We're talking, in his particular case, with all the expert witness testimony and resources that they had to bring to bear, his family paid in excess of $50,000 on that criminal case. And if it was not for his parents being sufficiently positioned, he probably would not have been able to have the legal team that he had. The one thing that I'll share, hopefully you don't find out, I told y'all, right? Y'all can keep a secret, right? Before his case was resolved, right? authorized by the court. We were talking about firearms legal protection. We had a presentation where some people were introduced to the great program on how it covers all legal fees, no deductions, and certain things have to happen. No, FLP steps in and takes care of everything. And I believe that the question he asked, he knew the answer to the question, but this was one of those scenarios where he felt he had to ask, because if he didn't, he wouldn't get the answer, even though he thought he knew the answer. Well, yeah, he knew the answer. The question was, hey, I have this case, I'm facing numerous felonies, a couple people got shot, here's my case, can I sign up today with all of this stuff pending, and you guys will retroactively reimburse me for everything that my family has already spent? Unfortunately, the answer to that question is?
That's a big no.
No, you're gonna need to consider your position before it actually happens. And yeah, and so, yeah, if we had time machines, we could figure this thing out.
Not only can you not sign up and have them reimburse you retroactively, in the middle of a situation, you can't sign up and have them pay moving forward either, because
Correct.
it's already in progress.
Already happened, yep, thank you. Yep, you already gotta be an active member with us. Like I said, got a couple different plans. I can get you all locked into some discounted rates today for being able to come out here and talk with you guys. But yeah, we will take care of the entire aftermath for you guys. Biggest thing
I'll
is
tell you,
just
I
take
had
care
a
of yourself.
couple of situations that come to mind. You know, I've been fortunate to have a few media appearances, and some people out there, you know what? I am not universally loved, but so be it. You know, the thing about having FLP in my back pocket, literally, is I don't know what person is out there who likes what I do, doesn't like what I do. And the fact that should something happen, my mind is completely and totally focused on the incident and on that threat in that moment. I can just focus on that, just survive the incident. I don't have to worry about how am I going to get out of this? How many charges am I going to get hit with? How am I going to afford an attorney? Who's going to represent me? Oh God, am I going to have to make the decision of go with the public defender, stay in jail? Do I have to make those difficult decisions? It's covered. All I have to do is just make it. Just survive. Just survive, and I don't have to worry about it. But unless you guys have any questions, I think Kyle's going to stick around for
I'll
a
be back,
second.
I'll be up there for a couple of minutes. I got a couple more classes I gotta run off to today, but yeah, I'd be more than happy to just be out there and answer any questions that y'all have. I know a couple of y'all already have memberships. You said with the USCCA. Real quick, you know, with the USCCA, I'm a USCCA instructor back when I was teaching. I would never go with their legal coverage. Now, the reason I would never go with them is because they have a recoupment clause. They're an insurance company. If you were found anything other than innocent, you take a plea. You're not 100% in the clear, they can drop you as a member and then come after you and give you a bill for every dollar that they spend on you up to that point. Right away I said, absolutely not. FLP, we're backed by an insurance company. We always take that hit for you, so we will never come after our customers for anything that we ever spend on them. So that's a big difference. And also the phone call. As soon as you guys call FLP, attorney answers the phone, your attorney-client privilege kicks in. USCCA, it's a rep. They can use that phone call and that rep against you.
Yep.
Yes,
Question, Pastor?
something to be careful.
No, I just had the little
Got
key
the
tab.
key tab, yes,
Here,
right
yeah,
there.
where I go, it's beat up.
Yep. Yeah, mine's got,
They say
Keep
call
our
us
shit
there's
on
on
the dogs.
FLP.
absolutely.
Kyle said he's going to hang out for a few moments. He'll be in your
Yeah, I got
back.
a couple minutes left. I can hang out with you guys for. So yeah. Yeah, if you want to come in the back, I can help talk with you guys.
Give him a hand for coming up and joining us.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you.
Hopefully, you all are getting tremendous value out of the information that's being presented here today. If you are a gun owner, if you have a concealed pistol license, you definitely need this information. The first part is how you should prepare yourself to be ready from a physical training standpoint and some of the things that you're going to experience Additionally, yes, the legal aftermath, you need to have a plan and to ensure that your future is intact after probably your worst possible moment. But having said that, we have our second speaker, and he and we had initial conversations, and I was very informed in his particular situation. I was actually captivated, and I didn't want to let him go. And off the phone, I was like, man, we got to bring you in and have him hear your story. So with no further ado, I want to introduce my second speaker, Mr. DeAnthony Ford. Give him a hand.
Good afternoon, good people. Like Rick just told you, my name is DeAnthony Ford. I'm from a place called Inkster, Michigan. I'm a football coach for 28 years, UPS worker for 28 years. I told you I'm from Inkster because it's a small community, 6 square miles. Everyone knows everyone. The grandmas, the grandfathers, the uncles, the aunts, the parents, every kids, everybody. And I say that to say, never in my life would I have possibly thought in my city that you know everybody, is something could happen to me, because that's the safest place in the world to me. You may see the news, and other people might see the news and be like, oh, Inkster rough or Detroit rough. But the people we don't have a fear to walk around our own community amongst each other. I know the top people, the best people, and I know the worst people. I went to school with them all. I love them all. It's a respect thing when you grow up in the environment I grew up in. You know, you see a guy, he might go down the wrong path. You know, you don't look down on him. Hey man, what's happening? How you doing? Blah, blah, blah. How's your mother? How's you? You know, so it's that kind of community. You know, does everybody get along? No. Me particularly, I got along with majority of everybody. I've never felt like this person gonna do something to me, that person gonna do something to me. I never felt that. So that brings me to this situation. It was 13 years ago, like June 26th, 2010. Like I said, I coach football. This was a football day. Kind of went into the night. The football players going. I'm doing coach stuff with all the other coaches. Whatever we was doing. So regular day. I work midnight for UPS, so it's not far before I have to go to work. So I leave the school, come to a convenience store, to neighborhood store. You know, hey, how y'all doing? Whatever. I see a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in a while. You know, he said, hey man, what's happening? How you doing? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, chilling, what's up with you? Blah, blah. He like, I'm about to go over to the car wash. We throwing a little something for, so-and-so. Come over there. Now, I paraphrase what he said, because I'm in the church. He said, I know you don't mess with a lot of people. I'm not a big group guy. I don't want to be the life of the party. I don't want to be, I'm always low key, So I know you don't mess with everybody, but come over there and mess with me. So come over there, chop it up for a minute. I'm at the store. The car wash is right there. My neighborhood is right there. Everything is a walking distance. So he goes over to the car wash. I do something at the store. I spin to the house real fast. And I end up going to the car wash. Now, before I even get to the car wash, it's an old mechanic station. Neighborhood owned, but it's closed. And then it's the car wash. Now, he already know I don't mess with people. I already know I don't mess with people. That was my first mistake like that. Very first mistake, I went against what I normally do. Very first thing. So, I'm sitting at the mechanic. I'm parked at the mechanic, looking at the car wash. It's one of those soft cloths. Neighborhood owned, I know the family. So garage doors open, motorcycles, people out drinking, their music. So I'm watching. I'm just looking, observing, like, okay, blah, blah, blah. I know everybody there, but, what's up? And I sat there for like 15 minutes. Now, something was telling me, don't go in there. But I'm a man of my word, really. I gave my word, pull up. So, okay. So All right, go in there. Say what's up, everybody. Handshakes for everybody, hugs, blah, blah, how everybody doing, blah, blah, blah. It was a long line of guys against the wall. Some people sitting down, people over here. I went to each guy, hey man, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. All the way down the line, got right here, what's up? And I specifically seen a guy, I know, like I said, I know him. It's no big deal. What's up, man? Long time no see. This is what I say. He said, yeah. I said, you been all right? He said, yeah. I said, okay, cool. You know, talk to the other people. You know, then I sit down, start talking to the guy who told me to come in. It's no big deal. It's a regular interaction. I knew my time was only like 20 minutes there, tops. So, you know, we do that. And everybody talking, everybody partying. So it came to, you know, just casual conversation. It came to the point where I was about to leave. Say, yeah, man, I'm out. Oh, you going already? Yeah, I'm going. All right, man, y'all take it easy, take it easy, take it easy, take it. You know, like everybody, same routine. I know all these people. So I walk over there, get in my car. My neighborhood is, you know, walking distance, but gotta hit a couple corners. And I turn in my neighborhood. Now, when I get in my neighborhood, I look behind me. I stay in the cul-de-sac, a place called Brick City. Anybody who knows anything about Easter?
27215 code gates are very familiar.
Right on. The bricks, that's what we call it. So I look at my review, I see my neighbor, my next door neighbor, in my cul-de-sac, the actual cul-de-sac that I moved to Inkster when I was 6. The actual, I know everybody. So she's behind me. I see an Inkster police car behind her, and it's off in the distance, there's a truck behind them, but you know, all right, seeing them, okay. Turn my cul-de-sac, back in. My neighbor comes, and she pops her trunk. She's a bowler. She's my friend's mother. She's like 60-something. She was 6, 7 then. She's probably 70, not for sure. So, hey Mary, how you doing? Okay, getting her bowling balls. Take it right next door. I'm on the phone with a very close friend of mine, talking, just pacing up and down the driveway. You all right, Mary? You need any help? No, I'm good. So she goes in the house. Now while she's getting her bowling ball out, this truck that I seen in the distance pulls up to the stop sign. You can only turn right or left. Right is in my cul-de-sac, left is taking you somewhere. They're sitting at the stop sign, I'm on the phone. It's no big deal because how many times you just stop at the stop sign and mess with your phone or something? So I'm not allergic, and it's my neighborhood. So she goes in, all right, see you, Mary. The truck slowly turns in my cul-de-sac, and it comes the opposite way of the cul-de-sac. You normally come in and go right to left. They comes the wrong way. So I'm like, damn, what they doing? Who is that? They pull to the end of my driveway. My driveway kind of far because I'm in the corner of the cul-de-sac, so it goes up. So, all right. I'm not a public speaker at all.
You're doing good.
I'm a football coach. But
You got this.
so they come. So they come. They pull my driveway. They pull to the end of my driveway. I don't see anybody. They're sitting back kind of. So I'm like, I'm on the phone. Like, hold on. I hear some mumbling or something, but I don't. So it's like they said my name. I said, who is that? Paraphrasing again. You know, who is that? They don't say nothing. Take a step back. You know. Then I hear a shot. Wow, loud shot. I was a smaller guy back then, you know what I'm saying? The shot hit me in my shoulder and spent me like a commercial or something. It spent me. And when it spent me, it took my legs out from under me and I fell on the concrete. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, what? I'm one of those guys that always prepare myself for every type of situation. Like, things run through my mind, like, it could be the simplest thing. I always try to find myself a way out. I already found multiple ways out of here if something happened. You know what I'm saying? When I was sitting in there. So I play these things in my mind. So I always thought if a situation like this ever presented itself, the first thing I would do is act dead. Act dead. If it was that type of situation. So when it hit me, I'm like, it shot me. It actually shot me twice. So it spin me on the driveway, but I can see down the driveway. I can see the truck. So I hear somebody talking in the truck, and I'm just standing still, not breathing, nothing. Not in pain, just like, what is this about? I'm like dead. You know, when they leave, I'm hop in the car and go to the hospital. No, that's not what happened. I seen the car door open up. I seen somebody jump out and started like trotting up my driveway. I'm thinking like, we got serious now. It's not robbery, this is serious at this point. So, yeah, so I knew, you know, him coming, you know, he was trotting up towards me. I'm in the driveway. It still was a lot. He wasn't shooting from, you know, he was. So, I don't know if anybody back in the day used to watch those kung fu movies where like the kung fu guys used to hit and jump like that. So I waited till he got close enough and I hit the ground. I popped up, boom, high off the ground. I had to scare him. I know I had to scare him. You know what I'm saying? So then he, you know, in the back of my mind, I always thought I wanted to get shot in the back and get paralyzed for whatever reason. Like you can get paralyzed from the front. But so I turned, and the guy, when I turned, I grabbed his arm. He has a gun. You know what I'm saying? And we tussling, but it's all a blur, so I can't see. But it sounds like it was a long time, but it wasn't, because when I tried to stand and fight, I collapsed. I didn't know I was shot. My kneecap was shattered. Everything was, you know, shattered. So when I did that and fell, I fell and I seen my van, you know, underneath my van. So, you know, instantly I started trying to get under the van. He shoot, boom, boom, stomach, chest, stomach, thighs, all the way down to my big toe. You know what I'm saying? So my adrenaline is really flowing, you know? I'm like, what is going on? I never got a clear picture of the guy. I got a picture of what he was wearing, which was important, but my adrenaline pulled me out of when I was getting under the car, climbing under the car, the adrenaline had me pull myself out on the other side. So the guy was running around, and he stood over me. And when he stood over me, all I seen was the barrel. It was a 40 cal. So I reached and grabbed it. It blew through my hand and hit me in the face. By this time, I was exhausted, bloody, and I didn't have no more fight in me. And I just turned my head, basically waited. And I peeked and seen him trotting down the driveway, back in the car, and left. So, you know, by this time I was on the phone, my phone was on the ground, my neighbor's door was open, my neighborhood just went in. They all, you know, they like, what's going on? My neighbor like, she called my name and said, I said, Mary, I got shot. She like, are they gone? I'm like, yeah, Mary, yeah. So she barely comes out. The rest of the neighbors coming out. Of course, everybody's scared. Everybody's terrified. You know. So they all come out. I have a neighbor that was like a grandfather to me. Yeah, he came out. Now, ever since I was a child, I remember him with glasses on. This is the first time I never seen him with glasses, and he couldn't see nothing. He come out with a big, I call it Yosemite Sam, big 357, and he looking like, you know, he can't see nothing, so they trying to figure out what's going on. So, you know, I'm laying on the ground. I'm making light of this, of course, but I'm laying on the ground, I crawl to the floor. Wait, let me back up. I was way up in my driveway. I hear my friend on the phone screaming, what's going on, what's going on? The guy's gone. This is before the neighbors come out. I crawl to my phone and tell them I'm shot, bro. But I can't really speak loud. So I'm like, I'm shot, bro, I'm shot. Now I'm a calm person. No matter the situation, I'm gonna kind of be like this. Good news, bad news, that's just something I do. So he was making me my heart beat fast. So I actually hung up on him. Then the Mary came, the lady next door situation came. So, she comes out. At this point, I'm just resting. I'm not talking. I'm keeping my heart rate down, looking, trying to assess what's going on, but I'm getting real sleepy. Chaos all around me. The police haven't got there yet. That's another story. But Mary was the first to approach me. What's going on? What's going on? They shot me. Call 911. She gave her my phone. Like you said, she couldn't call 911. She was shaking, could not call 911 for like 3 or 4 tries. Finally got 911, told them where we was at. So then, I'm thinking like maybe this might be it, because I'm getting tired, real tired. So my mom lives in Atlanta, so she gave me the phone, I hit my mom and gave it to her. She instantly started, my mom are friends. She instantly, oh, Miss Vanessa, oh, I want you got shot, I don't know what's going on, I don't know what's happening. It's not looking good, it's not looking good. So now, the first responding cop is coming, he get there. I know most of the police, I never seen this guy before, a young guy. He pulls up, he looks, he instantly gets on the radio, I'm here, gun shells everywhere. It's not looking good for him, you know, it's not looking good, because I'm just laying there, I'm not saying, I'm not talking, you know, I'm just like trying to reserve whatever energy I got left, so. It came to a point in the time with all the chaos around me, I was telling my homeboy this last night, but, because I don't talk about this much, so people don't, but if you can remember those old film strips when the movies used to be black and white, and it used to be like 10, 9, 8 before the movie came on, this is what started in my brain. And it was like two sides. The first picture I seen was my preschool graduation, where you had a cap and gown back and going to kindergarten. That was the first one. And then, you know, just different little pictures of your life, you know, things that happened in your life that was significant to you. So my football, my track, graduation, prom. So as these things are going by, it's slow, but then it's starting to come fast. It's going. So now it's getting to today, basically. You know what I'm saying? So I remember I replaced the word, but I said no. Forget that. You know what I'm saying? And I woke up. I popped up and I propped myself up like a kickstand. Now things are coming clear where people are saying, "What can we do? You need anything?" My neighbor, I said, "Water. I need water. I need water. I need water." So they all ran and got water. I drank one bottle of water like it was just a sip. It's done. I drank the other bottle, half the bottle, poured it on my chest, and the last bottle, I poured over my head. And it just like revived me. And I was up. I was in pain. I was in trouble, but I was up. I could see, I could hear. And I remember this is where this logo came from, still breathing. Because I knew I was still breathing. And that meant I had a fighting chance. You know, so I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter to the end. So I fought my, you know, the ambulance came, all that police. We don't have the best police department in Inkster, so they was little to no help.
Hey, officers.
You know, they was little to no help. Even though I know something, you know, I didn't get a clear picture of the guy, but you know, it's a small city, so you're gonna find out. But anyway, the EMS drivers was telling me, it's looking tough, it's looking rough, you need blood transfusions and all that stuff. And it was a whole ordeal. I get to the hospital, I'm in and out, police right there as soon as they pulling you out. Oh, you know, what's his name? You know any of that? No, I don't know none of that. So they take me back to the ER, ripping everything off. I had damage everywhere, but this leg was particularly worse. I remember the doctor saying, "Oh man, we're gonna cut that leg off." You know what I'm saying? And I jumped up like, whoa. I'm like, no, you know, don't cut it off. Like, hold on. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if we can work with this thing. So you know, that part went on. They discussed the thing, put me out. They put me out, you know, get all these surgeries, multiple surgeries. Like I said, I was shot in my big toe, legs, knees, thighs, chest, head, hand. So I fast forward to, I was out at the hospital for a couple of days. When I woke up, it was my mom, one of my neighbors. This is how I think. My old karate teacher was there because him and my mom is, you know, best. I hadn't seen him in forever, and he was way bigger than he used to be. And I woke up and I looked at the room, and the first thing I said was, "Y'all okay?" And they all bust out laughing. I'm like, "Man, we okay? You're okay?" I reached over, touched his stomach, and we got a chuckle out of that. But you know, that was, you know, the beginning of that whole ordeal. I was in the hospital for 4 months for that. Recovery was much longer. You know, I can't even tell you I'm recovered today. You know, so, but
How long ago did this happen? How was it about there?
13 years ago. Yeah, 13 years ago. So it's a whole lot of other stuff, but I can tell. But you know, the main part I got out. You know, so
it was that guy?
Pretty much was that guy. I remember the shirt. I remember the shirt, but I don't expect everybody here to understand how I grew up. It's not like I can go to the police and say, "I think it was him." I think it was this guy. You know what I'm saying? So, and in my hearts, I 100% knew the situation was gonna take care of itself, one way or another. Cause, you know, this is not a person that, you know, need to be out here, you know, doing, you know, and it did take care of itself shortly after that. And, he did something else to somebody else on my birthday and got caught for that. But, yeah, pretty much that's my story, man. So, y'all got any questions?
Did he go to prison or did he get shot?
He in prison.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
It's always another day, another way.
Yeah.
That's how they get caught.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea of his motive? What was his deal?
A lot of speculation. This guy was I knew the guy. Like I said, he was younger than me. We never crossed paths. Like I said, I know people from all walks, and I'm never in the spot where I'm not supposed to be. Because if I know you're doing this over here, dang my thing, I ain't over there. I'll be over here. So me and him never had any. I've seen him many times before that. So I could speculate, you know, but over victim of circumstance and what am I looking for? When you're guilty by association. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I go with.
You were shot at 5 times?
14 times. I probably left that out. Yeah, I left that out. You know, I did. I forgot. 14 times. And I'm assuming he had 16, it was like 2 in the garage. I don't know if I didn't hear another click. I can't give you a dramatic story like it was like click and he all I know.
You gave us a lot of dramatics already.
All I know is you know, the last one took it out of me because I knew I was hitting the head, you know, in the side of the face. But I, you know, grabbed the barrel. Straight grabbed and blew right. I remember looking through my hand and seeing the moon. It was big. And me and the moon have a special relationship now, man. I go out take pictures all the time and I say moon, man. But yeah, so, any more questions?
So it was a person that you knew from your direct hood, or he was an outsider?
I knew him. I
You
knew
knew
the
who he
person.
was.
Yeah, they had to come right from the car wash. The car wash, there's not too many outsiders at the car wash, it's just community.
And there was no incentive. I mean, there was no reason,
I never
valid
got-
reason,
I never-
or words exchanged, or
No,
nothing.
Same guy I said, how you been? Long time no see.
Did he go through your pockets? Did he,
No.
nothing? He,
No, it wasn't under that. This was not no robbery attempt.
I guess the fact if it was a robbery, people could feel a little bit better.
No, it wasn't robbery. It was no robbery at
Different
all.
person.
And it was a personal thing, but not with me. Like I said, I've seen this guy many times. We never had any run-ins. No, you know, and it's just something you gotta go through. I mean, you didn't, you know what I'm saying? No, you know, people have different motives we don't know about.
So I know you said like when you were initially hit, you know, you went into shock, so you didn't feel anything, but when you started to feel the pain, what did that pain feel like? Because I know a lot of people say it like feels like you're like on fire, it burns, it.
Volcano, it felt like a volcano. And I remember the EMS saying, how many times you shot? I said, I don't know, but I know more than 9. And he was like, how you know that? I'm like, because there's more than 9 places on my body that's on fire, like right now, on complete fire. I don't know how long bullets stay hot, but it's way too long. Way too long. You know?
Quit talking to do something.
Yeah. So yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I went.
Was all through and through? Were all the bullets
No,
through?
I just had a bullet taken out of my thigh 2 years, and they didn't take. I've been pulling bullets out since. You know, fragments here, hitting the nerve, going to the hospital for this. You know, just the fragment 40 hidden. Like I pulled one out myself. It hits all kind of stuff, so I can't even like go to the MRI machines. I got a card for when I go to the airport and stuff.
You
And I,
started fragmenting the bullets.
oh yeah, they didn't. It's like so many. It's like it was gonna be like a gang operation. It was gonna be, you know. So yeah. So basically, they only mess with them when they started messing with me. The last one started bulging. Well, we didn't know it was a bullet, but it started bulging out of my thigh, and I'm like, what's this? Went in there. They thought it was some type of mask or something. It was a full 40 bullet wrapped with muscle all the way around. Because the bullets try to push their way out.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I know I've always been a gun. I left this part out. I've always been a gun guy. I always loved guns. I started going to the range when I was 12, but I didn't consistently go all the time. But when that guy called my name, I realized the difference between a gun person and a gun carrier. Cause I didn't have a gun on me to even defend nothing. I have a few guns in the house, you know, but like I said, I wasn't overly cautious of, you know, but now since then, of course, I'm a different guy.
Right.
Totally different.
So what's different now?
Yeah.
What's different is the trauma for one. So now I can't even, I didn't like being around a lot of people before. Now I don't like it at all. So when I get invited to a lot of stuff, I'll be having to stand my friends up. You know, I don't like that, but that part of it, you know, I heard you say about the gas station. I go to the gas station that the police go to all the time. I hop out, what's up, man? You know what I'm saying? I got a liquor store. I got a liquor store that I go to all the time. Same people. I don't trap. I don't go to the hood spot.
VP on Cherry Hill.
Maybe.
I stay in Minster, that's why I'm asking.
I know, I heard you say that earlier, but yeah. So the way I move is the number one thing to change. I still overanalyze every situation. Now that feeling that I told you I had when I was sitting there looking and someone tell me, you know, I'll pull up to a wedding, dressed, you know what I'm saying? And I sit there and I play tricks with my own mind, and my own mind tell me, and I'm going, it can be family. I go all the way back home and have the excuse ready.
If you get that feeling.
Yeah, and a lot of times I'm psyching myself out too, you know, or I go show my face to the wedding or whatever, and as soon as the attention is off me, I'm out. It's just, I mean, it's something I gotta live with at this point. It's no, I got therapy. I've had therapy for the 13 years, but now I have 2 new therapists. It's helping me way more than the guy I had initially. I talk to them, each one of them every 2 weeks, but I got a bi-week, you know, so I'm talking to one each week.
Do you carry now?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh
They
yeah.
changed.
You're like, yeah.
Oh yeah. And the funny thing is, the way I got in contact with him, in my community, I like to try to I tell everybody, but the women specifically, because it breaks my heart when I see on the news a woman gets kidnapped or anything happens to her. So I always tell the women in my community, carry, because most women don't like to carry. So I wanted to come to him for some more extensive training so I can take it back to the women. And I kept on telling him, I kept saying women, because, and I had to explain to him why. I said, because men don't listen. Men always think you trying to show them love, or you trying to tell them something they already know. Oh, my uncle this one. Okay, well, women more or less listen to you. You know what I mean? When you tell them stuff like that. So that's how I even got in contact with him. And that's why I'm standing up here today.
Somebody was.
Could you repeat that? I didn't hear you.
What, I didn't hear.
What was your question?
I'm messing with you. I wasn't listening.
No, I mean, 14 times, I mean, somebody was watching over.
Yeah, there
What
was.
happens with you?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you remember the first responding officer's name? You said you didn't?
I want to blur them out. That wasn't a good experience, to be honest. The police part, it wasn't.
And I used to work there, so I was.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. It's probably on some paperwork, but that wasn't a good experience. It's like they didn't seem to care too much, but it's like another one.
It used to be better.
Another one. That's what it seemed like, because they definitely wrote me off. They didn't even come to my mom.
You got the feeling that they said he's not gonna make it, so
Yeah.
we're just gonna write him off. And
My neighbors had to call the police the next day, like, y'all gonna come get these shells and stuff?
You probably thought that it was just another Rusty on
Yeah,
that.
so my mom, you know, she from Atlanta, she came from, you know, here from Atlanta. She like, what's going on? She expecting to talk to police and stuff, none of that. And then she even went to the police to talk to the chief or whatever. And I'm like, I need somebody up there talking to him. You know, somebody, you know, when he got up there, he didn't want to be there and I didn't want him there. And he gave me a card and threw the card, like, no, it's, yeah.
I'm sorry that they were like that with you.
Yeah, I
I know it happens.
I got close friends as cops too, so it's not like all police. It was just my experience in that situation in the most critical time in my life.
Yeah.
It was like, no, they didn't too much. You
Yeah,
know.
there was like a handful of officers
Yeah.
when I was there, and we got a call for, 7 shots. The kid, was in the street, and they thought that he was, gangbang or whatever, and the kid died right there, and they were saying like, well, how does it feel?
Yeah.
Like, how do you like knowing that you're gonna die? Nobody cares.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I like it just disgusted me, it upset me. We escorted the ambulance to the hospital. He didn't make it. We had to tell his family.
Yeah.
And we found out that he was actually a really, really good kid. He just graduated, got a full ride to college. Wrong place, wrong time over a girl, jealous guy. That's it.
Yeah.
And but that was the last thing that he heard, were officers saying that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I contributed that to give me a little more motivation to, you know, make it, because I just was, when he said I wasn't gonna make it, I'm like, you don't even know me, I'm gonna fight. You don't even know me, man, you can't be telling me I'm gonna make it. But yeah, that's my story, man, so.
I'm glad you're still breathing.
I must say that we had two awesome, excellent speakers today. I was truly enthralled by the testimony, by hearing their story in their words.
And you both threw a little humor in it, so.
I mean, you find humor where you can, but they were both very powerful testimonies, and I think there's a lot of lessons in these stories, and I think that when we do this survivor story series, I've only been able to do 3 of them like in the last 17 years, because it's so hard to put these together, because you have to find all the constituent parts, and the most important part is the people who choose to be a part of it, and the fact that they're willing to sacrifice a little bit of their anonymity, you know, to come to a spot, in this case a church, and to share their story in however much detail that they're willing to share. You know, that requires a certain level of vulnerability that a lot of people aren't willing to do. So to both of my speakers, I truly, honestly appreciate both of you and for your willingness to do that. I believe you gave tremendous value to all of us here in person watching, and we got a couple of broadcasts going over the internet right now, and truly appreciate that. And also, too, I want to extend appreciation to Pastor Buddy for, again, opening his church up to my shenanigans. And if I have some crazy ideas, let's make it happen. I did not, was not required to compensate him in any way for the space, but despite not having to do that, we're in church today. I want to take up let's all take up an offering of Pastor Buddy and make a contribution to the church for allowing us to come in on this day and to have this program, because I'm truly appreciative of Pastor Buddy. Yeah, as a matter of fact, there's one of those collection plates right here. Come on up and make a contribution and be truly appreciated. Also, too, I would be remiss if I didn't shamelessly plug a few things. I am running for re-election to the NRA, National Rifle Association Board of Directors. The election period is right now, and it will be extended for at least another few weeks, 3 weeks or so. If you are an eligible voter, you should have a ballot in your designated magazine. Pull out your ballot, follow the instructions to the T, don't spoil it, don't give them a reason not to count it, and select Rick Director Ector. Hey, help me get reelected. I truly appreciate that.
Wait, can we vote online?
It's not an online thing. It's get a ballot in your magazine, in your mailbox, pull it out of the magazine, find my name and circle it. Don't go outside the circle, don't do anything crazy, right? Yes, question.
Rick, is that in the most recent magazine, or is it the
It's
upcoming?
the one that just hit your mailbox like within the last week.
Okay.
It's the March issue. You should already have it. If you're a subscriber, you should already have it. Anything else for me before we wrap up and conclude? Because I want to tell you all, it has truly been my honor and privileged that you all came out to the event today, and hopefully you all received value from this program. And
Thank you.
I hope that one day in the future that I can actually do this again, because it's really hard to get the necessary resources. Like I said, we had 2 awesome speakers today, and I truly appreciate them both for being here and telling us their stories. So with that, one last
I
thing.
just have a question for the brother right here with getting back to getting, the charges, no charge at all. Do they actually, I mean, it's Wayne County, so do they actually get to prosecutor Worthy that quick? Or she just
Let's
says,
not talk about, I won't want to make her mad. Let's talk offline after. We're gonna wrap this up.
Is it possible for them to
And
get in
we're
touch with
not
them?
gonna talk about her in this program. Let's wrap this up. And I
Well, the second
appreciate
part-
you all. Have a great day. Be safe driving home, and also, please, if you can, make a nice contribution.
Hey, let's give Rick Ector a round of applause.
I didn't bring it.
Yeah, this gives
So how the story go? Thank you. But no, they didn't talk to him. I guess it was supposed to go on for that night. Yes, yes, but I guess he was on that night. Right there
I'm totally not sure.